Dzień dobry, assalamu alaikum, ciao, konnichiwa, good morning, hola, bonjour, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Ken at 10. How are you? Hope you're well. Why the odd socks behind me, I hear you ask? Well, we were looking for a theme for today's broadcast and Odd Socks Day came up. We looked into it and actually it's a really good thing. I'll tell you about that in a moment. But before I do, first of all, welcome. Thank you for joining me. This is Ken at 10. We are James Alexander Estate Agents and we broadcast here daily at 10 o'clock to let you know what's going on from the coalface in UK property. We're based in Norbury SW16, which is situated between Streatham and Croydon. How are you? I hope you're well. Now, let me tell you about Odd Socks Day. Fantastic thing, actually. It's an anti-bullying campaign, and children are encouraged to go to school today wearing odd socks to support the campaign. And I love anything anti-bullying because I think bullying can be the most detrimental and dangerous thing to a child. It can even lead to suicide. So I'll just read you a post from the website. So if you look up Odd Socks Day, then you'll end up on the site and just look up Anti-Bullying Week 2021. And it says, and I quote, "Ask if someone's okay. Say you're sorry. Just say hey. In a world that can sometimes feel like it's filled with negativity, one kind word can provide a moment of hope. It can be a turning point. It can change someone's perspective. It can change their day. It can change the course of a conversation and break the cycle of bullying. Best of all, one kind word leads to another. Kindness fuels kindness. So from the playground to Parliament and from our phones to our homes together, our actions can fire a chain reaction that powers positivity. It starts with one kind word, and it starts today with Anti-Bullying Week and Odd Socks Week. So get your odd socks out, put them on, and support what is a fantastic cause. We love that. Oh, and by the way, received an email today. I was looking through the emails you get and you never really check. Well, I find myself guilty of that, and all of a sudden, whoops, there it is. Boom, we won again. Best branch in SW16, as voted by people that reviewed us. And that's what we love about this award, especially, is that it's not voted for by us. It's by you, the public, people that use our service. So thank you very much for all of you that voted. We are Gold Award winners here in SW16, Norbury and Streatham area, and we're very, very proud to be so. Few items of news for you now. First of all, we're going to talk about average house price drops. Now, I think you can take this with a pinch of salt. It's always the Express and the Mail, isn't it? If you notice that, they always seem to have these headlines. Here's the headline anyway. Average house price drops by £2,000 as market cools. Average house prices fell by £2,044 or 0.6% in the last month, as estate agents reported a lull in the number of new buyer inquiries ahead of Christmas. The average asking price fell to 342,401 in November, according to Rightmove. That's the biggest monthly reduction since January 2021. I think you have to weight these statistics against A, the volume of properties, and B, what price they come on at. I mean, it could be I just think it's such a random stat that it's actually not relevant. And actually, we often say that if you can value within 5% of the real true value of a house, you've done really well. So the idea that they know exactly that it's dropped 0.6%, this is just a mean average figure, and I think it's quite misleading. The only region to record a month-on-month increase, however, was the east of England with a jump of 0.5%. Again, insignificant figures. What they could have said, but it wouldn't make the headlines, was the market stood still today. It doesn't quite have the same feeling, does it? Another article here, and this one is from the Daily Telegraph, and it's about the energy crackdown, which could drive landlords to exit the sector. Now, this is interesting to me because many of you will know that we've just finished our podcast on this very topic, and Bob Harris was quite revealing. And let me just get that up now for you. Search our blog. Sorry, not our blog, our podcast. That's the one we want. And the energy crackdown. Now, Bob Harris was on our last one. If you search the Property Buyer and Sellers podcast on iTunes, then you will find our latest podcast. And last week we were on with Bob Harris. Bob is an energy expert and master builder, winner of the Master Builders twice in a row, and also a lecturer in energy. So really revealing and interesting to hear what he had to say about the coming requirement for landlords to hit band C by 2025. But anyway, we were saying at the end of that the energy crackdown could actually lead to an exodus of landlords from the sector, and that would be very bad news for the sector in terms of tenants, particularly in a time when we're already facing a shortfall. And by the way, If you've got a property to rent, then you're in our area, you're in London SW16 or surrounding. We are really short of stock for tenants at the moment. Lots of tenants out there looking, particularly and specifically for smaller properties, 1, 2 and 3 bedrooms, really short of that kind of stock. People are out there really looking desperately, and there's very little available. Many landlords chose to exit the sector locally with the stamp duty deadline and the busy market and price uplifts. So really keen to get new landlords on board. But of course, a lot of landlords are very worried about this energy band C, and that's why have a listen to our podcast. I think it'll be quite revealing for you. Should you buy an air source heat pump? Well, the answer's, well, it's in the podcast, so have a listen. But what the article says is an energy efficiency crackdown will trigger an exodus of landlords from the sector, experts have warned. Hamptons estimated the total cost to upgrade England's existing rental stock to Band C would be about £16 billion, an equivalent to almost half a year's rental income for most landlords. In cheaper areas, the cost would be a much larger share of rental income. In London, the cost to landlords would be equal to 26% of the annual rental income, whilst in the northeast, it would be 83% of the yearly rental income. Shawbrook Bank said we risk a substantial part of the private rented sector becoming unrentable and therefore unmortgageable in 2025. A survey by the NRLA, it's the National Residential Landlords Association, found that almost 2/3 of landlords would be affected by the introduction of minimum energy rating of C. Of these, 27% would exit the market if regulations ban renting out properties in Band D or below. Now, what's interesting is just below that, demand for London rental stores. This is a Daily Mirror headline, and certainly, we can echo this. Demand for London rental properties has reached almost 60% in the third quarter compared with the same period last year. This is according to a study by a lettings company, the Vespa Group. The return of office employees and students are the reason behind the rise, which has led in turn to a shortage of available properties. The Vespa Group says an average London rental property is now on the market for less than a week compared to 2020. And it's also raised in a price hike across the capital, with the average cost of renting up 10% in the same period, although it's down on the 2019 average. I think that's marginal, though. I'd say it's up. Certainly in our experience, it's up on 2019. But it goes to show how you have macro markets. Just because a headline says something doesn't make it true where you are necessarily. Apart from that, we have an interesting article on Premier Property Lawyers. They've had breaches in their systems, and they've been unable to access IT systems for several. Premier Property Lawyers. When you've dealt with them, sometimes you wonder whether they really are Premier. But anyway, nonetheless, they said they've now restored their IT systems sufficiently, but no doubt it's caused chaos for many across the UK due to a cyber security breach. Finally, bit of goss for you. Katie Price. We don't often talk about Katie Price here, do we? It's not really our kind of thing. But this is an interesting headline. Katie Price has reportedly been hit with a repossession order for her £1.35 million mucky mansion. She's failed to pay a debt of more than £500,000 on the property in West Sussex. The star could reportedly lose the home if she cannot get together the cash to pay off her debtors before a repossession hearing. A land registry search for the property revealed that the model owes money to both Kensington Mortgage Company and a solicitor. A repossession hearing will most likely be rescheduled for a date in January. Well, good luck to Katie. Hope she gets out of that. But that's your goss for the week from Showbiz. And apart from that, busy week on the cards here. And hope you have a fantastic week. That's it for today. Stay safe and well. Look after your family and friends. And we'll speak to you again very soon. Ciao.